Etymology and historical origin of the baby name Marcus. Marcus is the original Latin form of the name Mark, and it's one of the oldest of Roman forenames. In fact, back in antiquity and the classical era, Marcus was one of only a dozen or so given names used for boys. In the 2nd century Roman Empire, Marcus Aurelius, considered a philosopher king and symbolizing much of what was good about Roman civilization, was the last of the 5 good emperors. The etymological origin of the name is not certain. It likely comes from one of 2 places. The first is Mars, the Roman god of war. The second is from the Latin adjective mas, meaning male, virile, which connects nicely with Mars. The name Marcus was used by English speakers by the 16th century, but didn't experience wide adoption until the 20th century. Marcus also became a favorite among African Americans, likely influenced by pro-black nationalist orator Marcus Garvey. Personality of the boy named Marcus. The 3 energy is powerful and enthusiastic. These personalities are cheerful, full of self-expression, and often quite emotional. They have an artistic flair and gift of gab that makes them natural entertainers. Their joyfulness bubbles over, and their infectious exuberance draws a crowd. The 3 personality is like a child, forever young and full of delight. They are charming, witty, and generally happy people. The 3 personality lives in the now and has a spontaneous nature. 3 seem to live with a bright and seemingly unbreakable aura that attracts others to them. In turn, they are deeply loyal and loving to their friends and family. Luck also has a tendency to favor number 3s. Popularity of the boy named Marcus. Similar to the male names Victor or Julian, Marcus is a throwback to Roman times and yet strangely feels so modern and hip. The name has been in use in America since the government began tracking naming trends back in 1880. However, for most of the first half of the 20th century, Marcus really only achieved slightly above moderate usage. The late 1960s and early 1970s demonstrate a time of growth for the name Marcus, which may have coincided with the civil rights movement. Between 1970 and 2001, Marcus achieves a position on the top 100 list for 30 straight years, and names like DeMarcus and Jamarcus began to crop up. The name's height of popularity may be behind us now, as it slipped down to spot number 130 on the charts in 2010. Still a respectable position in terms of popularity, the name is no longer as fashionable as it once was. Nonetheless, Marcus exhibits strength, fortitude, and ancient appeal. Quick facts on Marcus. Gender, boy. Origin, Latin. Number of syllables, 2. Ranking popularity, 160. Pronunciation, Marcus. Simple meaning, god of war, man, virile. Characteristics of Marcus. Social, creative, optimistic, popular, communicative, happy, dramatic. Cultural references to the baby name Marcus. Literary characters of the baby name Marcus. Marcus Brutus is the real protagonist of Shakespeare's Julius Caesar, a study of the psychological journey of a man from betrayal to redemption. Once a close friend of Julius Caesar, Marcus Brutus is convinced by Cassius that Caesar means to make himself monarch, and joins the assassination conspiracy. He does so not out of power hunger but out of patriotism, and is appalled when he learns of the naked ambitions and bribe-taking of the other conspirators. Reconciled with Cassius on the eve of battle against Octavian and Antony, Marcus Brutus commits suicide after losing the battle. It is Marcus Antonius who extols Brutus in the final moments of the play as the noblest Roman of them all. As immortalized in Shakespeare's Julius Caesar, Marcus Antonius is a Roman general and trusted friend of Julius Caesar who steps in to maintain the stability of the empire upon Caesar's assassination. In his famous Friends, Romans, Countrymen, Lend Me Your Ears speech. He goes on to form a triumvirate with Caesar's nephew, Octavian, and another general, Marcus Lepidus, dividing the control of the Roman Empire among them. To Marcus Antonius falls Egypt, where is the beauteous Cleopatra? It may be argued that Shakespeare's Antony and Cleopatra gives us the more intriguing side of Marcus, a more mature man, Cleopatra's lover, co-ruler of Egypt, and eventual fellow suicide. As is so often the case, love aces politics, and Antony crosses Octavian for love of a woman, with disastrous results. Popular songs on Marcus. A song by Mighty Diamonds, Them Never Love Poor Marcus, Marcus Said, a song by Sloane, Marcus Garvey, a song by Burning Spear, Dub Marcus Say, a song by Steel Pulse. Famous people named Marcus. Marcus Allen, football player, Marcus Antonius, Mark Antony, Roman emperor, Marcus Camby, basketball player, Marcus Aurelius, 2nd century Roman emperor, Marcus Garvey, black leader. Historic figures with the name Marcus. Marcus Garvey was born in Jamaica in 1887 as one of 11 children to a mason worker and a domestic helper. He gained a love of reading through a large library of books owned by his father. Garvey received a formal education up to the age of 14, and eventually became a printing apprentice. After joining a printer's strike, he was blacklisted in his trade and went on to travel in Central America. It was during these travels that Garvey became convinced that uniting blacks was the only way to improve their condition. He was a staunch proponent of the Black nationalism and Pan-Africanism movements, which inspired him to found the Universal Negro Improvement Association and African Communities League, UNIAACL, under which he promoted the return of blacks to their ancestral Africa. This led to Garveyism, a philosophy that spread globally and focused on the economic empowerment of Africa and called for the black redemption of the continent, followed by the exit of colonial powers. Garveyism reached both the Nation of Islam and the Rastafarians, which proclaims Marcus Garvey as a central prophet of their movement. He is still heralded as a national hero in Jamaica and revered by blacks and white alike for his tireless fight against oppression.